It's like really bad. Um, anyway, for those that weren't aware, um, I came down with something kind of close to a flu kind of thing. I didn't have the fever and stuff, but I did have the headaches, the sneezes, the coughs, the achy, and all that. So I was pretty miserable. And this was like a month ago. And I'm one of those that when I get a cough, I have to really, really be careful with it because I have a tendency to hang on to it. I think my record is 4 months that I hung on to a cough when I got sick one time. Not anything to be proud of, but that's how it went. So yeah. Uh, anyway, it has been about a month now, I think, uh, and I'm still coughing. It's less than it was. It comes in fits. Usually it's when I'm talking a lot, which I will be doing today, but we're going to try and soldier on through it. But uh, for a while there, it was pretty painful because there was so much coughing. My body just was like sore and my throat was killing me. And I've been sucking down like cough syrup and cough drops and tea with honey and using onions for nighttime so I can sleep through the night without hacking my lungs up. And had a special like poofer thing that I had to do for about 10 days. But everything's like the doc will give it to you and she'll go, oh, you can only take this for like a week. And it's like, well, once the week is up, then I'm back to my usual antics. But so yeah, it's been rough, annoying, frustrating. And of course, I've had to cancel because again, I didn't want to irritate it further by doing the talking stuff, but it's been so long and I felt so guilty about having to cancel all the time. So I'm going to try and make it through this one. So hopefully you guys can bear with me. If you hear some banging around and noises and stuff, that's our cats. We just gave them access to the upstairs, like uh, it's been a few weeks now, and so they're still kind of getting used to the space and the noises and stuff. So they kind of freak out. I am so sorry. Anyway, so yeah, I'm probably going to scratch all of this before we get started actually on the video, but yeah, we're going to attempt this. Now I'm hoping that the sound is working correct. If not, again, I apologize if this is totally flubbed up. But we had a Windows update that worked up a bunch of stuff. It kind of like got rid of a lot of saved settings and things, and I had to redo the one for OBS. And I took some uh, screenshots of that from the past, but I couldn't open the program because the program needs a disk and I can't find the disk. And it was just a mess this morning. So apologies again if it's not working right. If it is, please do let me know if you can, in fact, hear me clearly. Um, but yeah, good morning, Aurora. Glad you could join. Yes, I am feeling better, but every now and then, especially when I'm talking, I'll get a strange, really strong tickle and it'll throw me into a fit. So again, apologies in advance if I just hack all over the place and hurt your ears because it's really not something I can avoid as much as I would love to. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I realize that some of our usual chatters won't be here because they probably aren't really sure if I'm going to be here today. I didn't like really want to announce, yeah, I'm going to be here because then I feel like extra guilty if I ended up having to cancel. So we're just going to kind of wing it today. We're just doing a single plot today because again, I kind of want to keep it small. I say that and I'll probably be here for a couple of hours, on my ways of doing things, but we'll see how it goes. If I end up having to cut it short early due to, my lung coming up, then we will continue on with the plot at a later time. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, I don't know. But we'll try and get as far as we can today, depending on how I fare. Um, let's see. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to mention. I'm sure there's been some events and stuff that I've missed. Again, apologies. There's just no getting around it when I'm kind of out of the loop for a while. But I appreciate all of the well wishes from everyone. Uh, it's just one of those things, getting up in age, and it seems like everything's falling apart. If it's not one thing, it's another, and sometimes it's several things at once. So it's just one of those deals that you got to learn to live with. So anyway, let's get started. This is, I think it's Tygon Stronghold's plot. And if you're curious about it, this is actually a commission build. Aurora the Builder, you can see them over here, rock, built this for Tygon. I don't know the logistics about it, if there was coin involved or whatever, or maybe it was a fair exchange where they built one for Aurora and Aurora did one for them, or what. But Aurora, as I've mentioned in the past, is probably one of my top 10 builders faves. There's probably way more than that, and I'm gonna not be able to name everybody, but like Severion and uh, Maddie and Poi and just a bunch of others that can come to mind that have fantastic builder abilities. And it's always nice that some of them are willing and able to build up some nice plots for others that maybe don't necessarily have the talent for it, but just don't have the time for it, because some of these builds can be pretty intensive as far as the time involved in putting, collecting the items that they need to build and then actually building it and getting things to work like they want. I don't know how commissions work for everyone. I know some are just given like a free reign as to what they're allowed to do, and others, it's like with any other kind of client um, thing, they have special requirements or requests that, like they want a certain color palette or a certain theme, or specific stuff that they want in it, and that can be kind of tricky, I think. If I was to get into something like that, I don't know if I would be able to um, handle it on a regular basis. I've done a few things for others in the past, and they've said, okay, I'm looking for this or that, and I kind of go for this, but they tended to kind of just give me free reign as far as how I interpreted what they were asking for. But I know there are some people that will be very specific about what they're wanting, and what they see in their head may not be what you see in yours. And so yeah, for those that are able to do these commission works, I commend them, because I know it's not an easy thing to do. Um, and two, a lot of us are pretty critical or criticizing of ourselves when it's built for ourselves, but when it's built for someone else, it's like multiplied by 100. So we're always kind of worried about, well, are they happy with it? Does it look like what they were expecting? And so yeah, it's kind of one of those things that power to you if you can handle it and get through it. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that it is a build by Aurora. Again, we've seen some of their plots in the past, like the pirate ship plot. I think we toured that not too long ago, in fact, with the interactables and stuff. So it's pretty fun. Pretty cool builder. Oh, he just gave you the plot and says, "Woohoo, go with it." Um, that's probably the best kind of client to get. Just they say, "Go with it." I trust you. That's probably the best. It's like the dream client. Okay, so we're on Tygon Stronghold's plot. It's called Light Heaven. And as you can see, you come into, I love when people can give you kind of like a great like view, whether it's, if you go through a bunch of trees and you come up on this nice little cabin canyon kind of thing, or this kind of thing where it looks like, some rolling hills off in the distance. Um, I don't know what stone's being used here. I guess it's the gray one for the teleport pad. I'm going to be rusty in my terms and stuff, folks, because it's been a while since I've been doing this. So um, I think it's a combination of probably snowy hills, and this looks like an Insta Hill here, one of the Protostar Insta Hills you can get from the cash shop. But it's always fun and interesting to see how people treat the entrances because, a lot of us, it's like a pet peeve with the teleport pad, having to cover it up. I say having it, it's not like you have to, but most of us want to because it's kind of an eyesore. It gets, you know, that's the thing about the housing. We really love and strive to achieve that individuality so we don't look like it's just cracker box, you know, all the same. And being able to customize it as we can really helps with that. But with the barrier around the teleport pad, we really have to be clever in how we treat it in order to hide the parts that we don't like. So you can see there's just some stones, little hills. I think this part is a snowy hill, upside down one, just for that little bit of green there. And then the different flowers. And of course, with the color shifting, that's really livened up the possibilities for the differences in flowers. Like normally, if you wanted a yellow flower like this, you'd have to actually get the canary clusters from, I think it's Walleran, I think. And I think these are the same flower, one's just been color shifted to a yellow. And of course, these are actually pink flowers, but I think the twiggy parts are kind of a gray, but since they've color shifted it to like a pinkish red, it just really brightens that up. It looks like almost like candy. Um, so yeah, I don't know a thing about this plot. I haven't taken a sneak peek or anything. Aurora just told me that it was done, and I promised them that I would take a look at it on this particular day. And it just so happened that I had to cancel all the way up until this point, so I didn't change the date. So for those of you that are kind of picky about the scheduling. I was actually meant to be on NA this week because that was the next one in line. But since I already promised Aurora that I was going to check this one out, I decided not to switch it. And so, yeah, I'm getting like Jabbit back to back, sort of. So yeah, we're going to take a look on the outer areas first, and then we'll go to the interior last. But you can see it's, again, I'm horrible with landscaping, trying to make it natural. And I think I'm more like a garden kind of person where it's like rows and everything's straight and just so. And I can't get the making it look like it's just kind of randomly passed around. So again, Aurora, Maddie, a bunch of them are just like fantastic with making things look like that's the way it came, like it was just snatched out of the game and this is what you get. So it looks like it just come this way, but this is actually built up. And remember, our plots are traditionally flat, and Aurora's just built it up to make it look like these nice bumpy hills. The contours of the land are just awesomely done. Oh, no, you didn't mess up my schedule. Don't worry about it. Again, I was really concerned that I might have to cancel today anyway, so I was trying not to stick with that. By the way, Poi, I just want to mention, I'm not sure if MooBot is working, so if the little commands that you usually use kind of wig out. That's probably why. Again, a lot of my settings and stuff have been wiped, so I was trying to add it back in, and it says it is, but I don't know if it takes a while for it to actually recognize that it's there. So if you do any of those weird little moderator commands, don't fret if it doesn't work right. Yeah, see, it's not showing up like it's supposed to. So sorry about that. Hopefully I can get that sorted out the next time we're on. Um, if I had thought about it, I would have tried to get this set up yesterday, but again, it just worked out that way. So let's just go around this way, I guess. We'll go to the mine first. Now, again, I think most of this is Insta Hills, and you can see where the white puffs, that would mean part of this is the upside down snowy hills. And I think most of the stone or the rocky parts are uh, the gray stones. Pardon me. And of course, a lot of the pine trees. I'm sure there's different ones. You can see there's a little different shades and stuff. It looks like something out of, I can't think of the zones. Was it Glarus? Glarus the one with the pine trees and stuff? Or is that the one with the weird, like, sunflower thingies? I can't think about it. Anyway, so yeah, we're going off into the mine. We've seen several mine setups before, and you can tell that they've kind of used some of the traditional ones with the metal planks as the track, and then using for the little beams across uh, the boards. The 2x4s, there we go, I got it. We've seen some use like the ladders. I think I've even seen a few use like some of the boardwalks and stuff. Um, some use 2x4s for all of it. Some use the planks for all of it. It just depends on your taste and what you feel looks best. I like the little cart. We've seen some using like the wheelbarrows, and then they'll add some extra goodies to it to make it look like um, they're part of the track. But this one's actually using hover part pieces. There's a bowl. I mean, look at the detail. I mean, that's like an extra piece. You know, you could probably get away with not using some of them, but I like that you get into such detail. Looks like domes for the tires, the wheels, and look how it works well in how it fits together. So it looks like it fits right on the track. I think it's red moon vents, curved wall, and of course the crystal formations. This part here, these are the, I think it's called the end cap pipes. Again, it's from that Palavar point daily for those of you that are max level and looking for some dailies that you can do. This one always grants, well, I say always, I think it mostly grants like pipe pieces, like the sewage pipes and the long vertical pipe. I think there's an L-shaped one, and the end cap here. These are great for tables, chairs, things like that. As we enter the mine, then you get a little bit more rough, and I think it's Draken fencing that they're using. You can kind of tell because it's got the skulls inside it. Look at just the detail of having like the beams, support beams and stuff in there. I think those are pillars, by the way. Pardon me. As far as the dirt, I think they are asteroids that have been recolored to a brown, just because of like the dimples on them. Now, if you're really going for different types of dirt, the sandbags are probably the favorite, just because they're kind of flat on one side and rounded on the other. So if you're looking for maybe flat ground or hills, it works pretty versatily. Is that a word? Versatily? I think I'm making that up. a lot of fencing to get that little cave thing going. So I guess this is where maybe the head honcho of the mining team can come and plan out who's going where and doing what part, and also they can take a nappy. Other parts of the brown stuff I think is maybe possibly just stones that have been recolored like this one. I think that's a stone that's being recolored to kind of a brown. I think this is a clever use of I think those are what, spider eggs? Some kind of eggs. It looks like gold nuggets or something. Yes, it's got spider webs and stuff on it, but I thought that's a fun use of this. Well, let me just keep going this way first. So it looks like this mine has different areas where different types of ores and such are dug out. So you got these blue crystals, the crystal formations. Some of them have these sparkly animations. You probably remember one of Aurora's plots from the past. It's kind of like a Orany house, and the whole the exterior of the whole mountainous area was like these oversized crystals and the sparkles, and with the rainbow and stuff. I don't remember the name of it, but it was very pretty, nicely done. This is where the gold stuff is. I like the look at the cables. A lot of cables trying to get that zigzag in there. And trust me, it's not easy to get those to join up perfectly looking to make it look like it's actually one single ropey wire. Um, there's a lot of tweaking you have to do to get it to land just right. Again, I think that's an asteroid that's been recolored to make it look like a big clump of dirt. Okay, I think that's all in the mine part. Went that way. Dead end. But see how like this is like some nice touches to again, it's attention to detail. You've got the track, but it's broken up and there's still like bits. It's smart building to me, very meticulous building as well, to not have it completely, clean and put together. It looks ragtag, like it's an abandoned mine kind of thing. Yeah, Aurora, that's probably, yeah, that's definitely one of the hardest stuff, especially for this particular type of scenario, is when you're doing a commission for someone. You can't put things directly into the crate. They have to do that. So if there's any things that you have to collect, you have to, again, match up your schedules or something. Usually I would just have to mail it to them and say, please crate this, and then, check back regularly to see if they managed to do that. So yeah. Hey, Bones, good morning. Well, that's good that he was very helpful in that way. I know I built for someone one time. It was like they only visited like once a week or something, and it was like it took a long time because it was tough to kind of match up my hours with them. Yeah, we saw the little Jabbit. I'll go back and take a closer look. But again, yeah, it's little details like that. I love the broken up um, bits. See, he's there. He's ready to push it. The mischievous Jabbit. Okay, so back out go up the hill, I guess. It's so lovely that they've added all of these animal NPCs, because it would look so weird if we had to use that roan corpse with the tongue logging, lollygagging out. That would be pretty disturbing, but it's nice that we've actually got the NPCs to use now. So I think those are called the roan. Why someone would put some traps out here for them to step in is any guess, though. Here's another little Jabbit sniffing around. I'm surprised there's no like cheese squares or something there for them to on. I think these are called the dawn grazers. Again, if you can get a hold of the NPCs, there are a few of the corpses you can use, but some of them are pretty gored up, like they got like rib cages showing and stuff, and you have to be kind of clever about hiding them. I think the favorite corpse is probably the Pumera one, because it's got some scratches and stuff on it, but I think it's the least gory of the bunch, and a lot of people like to use it because it looks like it's sleeping. It's because it's like dead on the ground, but so a lot of people like to use it as like a pet cat kind of thing, or just having them sleep in the cave or something. Oh, is there a reason why the traps are all out? It's kind of spooking me. Okay, here's the lovely little house on the pond kind of thing. Again, people have found fun ways to use those new waterfalls because they have such an awesome animation. So yes, this is a waterfall. It's not being used like a waterfall. It's just being used for that part to make it look like a moving body of water. If you can't or don't want to get a hold of that, there are other things you can use. You can just use layered glass. Um, the bottom of an upside down chalice, although I think that's probably more rare than everything else. But there are other things you can use. They just won't have the same appearance. This actually gives you the transparent water look. It's the right color, and you can actually kind of look like you're submerged into the water. Whereas if you're using like layered glass, um, obviously you would be walking on the surface of the water rather than down inside it. That's the only drawback. Of course, if you're going for like a winter scene and you're looking for more like frozen water or something, then that works great. But yeah, it's just again, it just depends on what you're aiming for, what you can get a hold of. But I like that there's lots of options for those that can't get a hold of the exact pieces that they're looking for. If you're wondering about the little posts here, I believe those are the posts of the tiki roof. So I imagine the roofs are down below in the ground where you can't see them, and they're just using the posts themselves. Uh, Decking pieces for, well, the deck. For the fishing pole, it looks like they're using just one of the Draken spears, and then for the rope, it looks like some kind of antenna thing. I have no idea what one it is, but there you go. There's a piece from the house swap vendor that can work as a water surface far trader. Oh, the far trader. Trying to think. I don't know. Is that the? I know you can use the frost spore, but it's like an opaque blue, but it actually moves a little bit. And the bigger it is, the more noticeable the movement is. So that one's nice. I've seen a few people do that. I think we saw Kai's place. It's kind of an Asian build. They used it really huge, and it looks like the water is ebbing back and forth, but it's actually just solid blue. Oh, ice block. Yeah, the ice cubes probably could. Is that where you get that? I thought that was a drop. I'll have to look again sometime next time we come upon one. Um, get over here to the dock here. Now there actually are some vent NPCs that you can get, but this is just the plushy one. Love the little house, how the roof and stuff is worked. It's decking pieces for most of the walls, granite um, pillars, and then the roofing is picnic tables. And you can see there's quite a few of them there to make it look like those nice little, it's not thatchy, but kind of, sort of, with the shingles. Again, a lot of detail, and see how well it lends itself to the curves. Adorbs. This here for the little log, that's just the water trough flipped over. Pardon me. I like the how the what's that called? Trellis is using, it's being used double time. Again, it's kind of like if they were to put a handle here, like I don't know what, a ball or whatever, or a dome like tilted halfway and it's poking out through both sides. I call that double time because it's actually one item, but they're using it in two different ways. One for decoration on the porch, but in here it's being used as like a coat rack, hat rack kind of thing. It's they just stuck in some Merg dynamite for the little cookies. These are the wooden crates for part of this. It looks like it might be the decking pieces because it's kind of the same color, so it blends really well. They could have used the decking pieces if they'd wanted, but it's nice that they used the crates. I like how they've got this set up. It's the same piece, I think it's called the Maro tubes, and they just turned one over and made it look like they chopped up pieces. It gives a hint that there might be an attic, just staircase landing for that. How adorbs is this? This could work not just in this little hunting cabin kind of thing, but it could be in a diner or whatever. I mean, if they use a different, maybe different kind of setup here, but look at the cushions. It's those radio mattresses, the white ones. I've used it for like filling for ice cream sandwiches and towels, like put two of them together, make it look like a towel. I didn't have access to kitchen towels for a long time, but look how pretty they look, all dressed up. The table is, I think it's, I think it's this piece here, the bookshelf. They just shrunk it down and used it as the base of the table and then slapped one of the decking pieces on top. Simple, easy. It's really nice because it's all the same kind of wood, which is, really helpful if you're going for a specific type of theme. I'm assuming some of these mushrooms and stuff are from some of the newer decor packs. Now, if you're wondering about the grass, I assume this is probably one of those upside down snowy hills and they've just shrunk it down and made it look like, because again, it mirrors the ground cover of whatever you have. So it looks, that's why it has that large blade grass there. And that's just because it's mirroring what's down below. Say mirroring, is it reflecting? No. Mimics whatever's below it. Maybe that makes more sense. Up, up, up we go. I don't know if this is supposed to be like a trader. He's coming in. They don't look too friendly with the guns and stuff. See how pretty these look? The pink flowers. Those are typically like I think it's a desert flower. It's like brown, brownish yellow, and always looks kind of drabby. And the color shifting just, oof, you got some pretty pink flowers. I think we're coming to the edge up here. This just shows you how fun the changes of elevation to really make it look like a chunk of natural land. Um, the shaping of it, just to give it some character rather than always having. I mean, in the beginning, I think hardly anybody tried to make hills and stuff. We would just left it with a flat, pancake plot, and we've come so far and really just going wild with it. Back down again. I like this little, it's almost like a little mini park. Look at the benches, how they've tried to make it look like, okay, there's some stones here like there are all around, and they just kind of make do with it. Again, in the mine, we saw that they used the Draken fencing for like the rocky innards of the mine, and it's the same piece here. They've just color shifted it to a gray, black and white, to kind of blend it so it looks like someone kind of said, okay, there's this big boulder here, and we're just going to add to it and then put the bench and just, voila. Like you're using the nature and then you just kind of build with it, around it, into it to just go with it. I like that. Let's go this way, I guess. I honestly don't know what these things are called. What's that? Oxian. Okay. I didn't realize they were so weirdly shaped, but okay. Again, awesome that they've given us such variety in the critters. A swing, okay, I'll come back around. Yeah, I try to get all the little goodies, but I do miss things from time to time. Again, here's a good view. So you see, I mean, you can practically just keep going up, up, up. This little beauty, I think it's called the gnarled root or celestial gnarled root or something along those lines. It's not a common item. I forget where it came from. I have one and I've been so hesitant to put it in a crate because I'm afraid I'll put it in one and then think, oh, I should have put it in the other one. Because you can't move those things around, unfortunately. So yeah. For all of this kind of like ivy growth, those are just overgrowth that have been kind of squished into the rock and only bits of it are showing, so it looks more natural, like it's some viney ivy that's, I think that's a little more natural looking like than just having the traditional clump and with the bits hanging off, which I'm guilty of doing too, but this is a nice blending of having some of it show like most of us expect and then having the rest pushed in where it's just a few scattered leaves. Far better use of that item. Again, the newer waterfalls, Lovely animation. It's got that little bit of steamy stuff coming up and the splash effect and everything. Really great. Some of those plushies. Forget that it's like a giggle me something or tickle me something or other. Oh, is that where it comes from? Do they shift? I want to say they rotate, don't they? Or is that the one that comes from the vendor itself? I thought there were some that they rotated each month. That's good to know, though. Now I won't feel so guilty about putting it in the crate if you can just get them from the residential renovation event that they have every month. I have yet to do that even once. Isn't that awful? Awesome. That's good to know. So it's because I know there's like two different vendors, and one the same stuff is always available, and then the other one it like rotates out. Um, can't remember I know there was like the Dominion, like the city packs where it has like the utility, not the utility crates, the weapons crates and stuff like that. I think they're on rotation. Now the same stones for this little pathway is the same ones they're using for all of this here. FYI. And look at this. I love this. They've patchwork the stones to make it look like this little pillar, natural stone pillar thing. The benches are a combination of water troughs. It looks like two of them kind of sandwiched together, and then having that mattress snuck in there for the cushion. And then also a pair of them to make it look like logs for the base of the table here. Same way with the stools. Again, it's just the two water troughs sandwiched together. Metal planks, I think. These are the training posts, I want to say. Marine training posts or something along a Draken one. I don't remember the specific name. This here, I think, is the bottom of the, oh, what's it called? The feeding trough. And then for the handles, it's the Osun chain links. This is actually a pretty big item, but they've pushed it down so it looks just like a flat tray. And then added the little handle parts. I think that's a great use of those. That's the joy of having a solid cabinet like that. Now, if it was, say, you wanted to put something on a glass table, that's trickier because you can't necessarily hide what's underneath it. But yeah, I like the use of the nautical wheels as kind of a wine rack here. That's kind of cute. Yeah, here's one of those corpses. See, they have the roan one, and I've used this. That's actually on my Easter plot where I've got all the little eggs hidden for you to find. I actually have one standing up, pulling a cart, and I used sandbags to make it look like he's got like a pack animal. He's got that, plus he's pulling the cart. He's like doing double time work. I'm like saving him in a way, but it looks pretty weird because obviously it's dead, but I've got like one of the eggs in his mouth because he's got it gaping open and the tongue's hanging out. It looks awful, but at the time they didn't have the live critters, so I had to make do. But yeah, it's pretty funny. So I'm actually using the corpse one for that. So it looks like he's like kind of drunk, like kind of dancing, prancing, gaping maw kind of thing. Um, for the barrels, uh, I think these are the metal and wooden ones, right? It might be two of them smushed together because I think it's like half and half, and this looks like both. Either that or it's a new barrel that I'm unaware of. It looks like a vent tank has been snuck in to make it look like it's got a little tap on it. And then the shelf itself, I think, is just metal planks, like two of them together to make one panel, and then, you know. Again, tip, if you're doing screenshots, say I want to take a screenshot of this, and you don't want that glowing, just kind of turn your character away, have your character facing you instead of the other way around, and it doesn't light up unless you're actually mousing over it. Because for whatever reason, that always, they like zero in on it, and that's awkward for someone that's trying to take some nice pictures. Two barrels and a red moon vent in the middle. Oh, okay, so here's the, yeah, because I know a lot of people, when they think barrels, they think completely wooden, but the one we have was like half and half. It's half metal, half, and it just looks weird. And it's also kind of not uniformly like ovally egg shaped. It's more like it's wider and then it's more narrow, I think, on the metal part. So yeah, this works much better. So that's four pieces, I guess, being used for that. Two barrels, a vent, and a tank. Notice the color shifting for the fruits. I think some are actually two different, like I think those are the marauder berries, and then these are the hanging fruit, and they colored the hanging fruit. Notice the spilt wine. Again, that's the, I think it's called the ice blotch. It's usually purple, um, but it's great for spilled drinks or like blood. We've seen a few people use it in like death scenes and stuff. Um, you just sink it down and hide the moving eye that's on the other side, and it looks like a nice little splat. There's probably a few other things you could get away with using in that way, but this is the easiest. This is one single piece. It looks like a nice splat. And with, again, with the color shifting, you can make it any color you want now. So, or within the range of the color shifting, I would say. But that's a heck of a lot more than we had in the beginning, so can't really complain. These little garden bits are the water trough, not the water troughs, the feeding troughs again, I think. But this time, I think for the dirt, they're using the upside down barnacle wheat, the ones that I say that look like chocolate. I think that's what's being used for the dirt. All right, Bones, you have a good day at work. Thank you for dropping by. Yeah, going to scale is pretty tough. I always build them to my character. So again, if you're building for someone else, it's difficult, especially if they're using a different size character than you. Now, when it comes to like doorways and stuff, the collision is the main thing you need to worry about. And in theory, if a Chua can get through the door, any of the characters can. But like you said, visually speaking, um, you might want to make it a little larger if you're talking, you know, Macari or Granok or whatever. Yeah, it's always funny uh, coming into a place and it's like it looks giant size compared to your character, and it's like, whoa, you know, I've stepped into Alice down the hole kind of thing. As far as this little pumpkin patch, those again are just overgrowth, just sunk down and used to make it look like ivy, leafy stuffs for the pumpkins to grow in. Now, oh, I guess that's carrots, isn't it? I was thinking it was pumpkins. Oh, the carrot plushies are buried. That's so sad. For the dirt here, to make it look like a mound of dirt. Now, some will use, again, those sandbags, but I like that they've used the fruit as like little lumpy bits of dirt or stones or whatever. I like that. This is the pumpkin patch. I don't know why I thought those were pumpkins. I saw orange and I just for the leafy bits here, I want to say those are those ferny bits. I see some of that, the little twiggy parts from like Celestion and stuff, but I think these are the ferns. I think those are such pretty flowers, the ferny ones, because I liked using them as bushes. I think I used them for rose bushes. Let me go to the swing real quick. And now, have I seen everything on the outside? Oh, no, we didn't go here. The Rousdower pen. Now, again, typically, I think like on my Easter plot, it's I use the plushies, the Rousdower plushies. But they do have the NPCs now, which looks obviously more natural. They're moving, grazing, and everything. Do you have problems with them popping up in wrong sizes when you like make them small to make them look like babies? I know some people have had problems with that, like with the terrain NPCs and stuff, and like the Kurg from the LOP kit. I think I saw a few that they tried to make them really miniature size, and then when we leave and then come back, they'd be boop, they'd be big again. You have that issue with any of them? Oh, that's awesome. That's good. Go ahead if you want to show us your the route your pet takes. The little barn is lovely. I think the thing of note though that most people will be fascinated with is the umbrella here. That's using what, the stairs? No, this is the railings. That is so adorbs. There's the bowl. I call it the turtle bowl. Oh look, it's a little training center for the sheep. I used to live next door to some people that had sheep, and they called for like 4-H or something, and they did like a little training thing for them. I don't think it was this. It even hops. Oh my gosh, that's pretty high for the Rouse Tower. But yeah, that's pretty fun, cute. But yeah, they used hay bales, and they would make them jump over them like counting sheep, hop over, and we'd watch them shear them and everything. It was pretty strange. But I guess this is like a little hazard course where the tire would swing back and forth. That's kind of cruel. You knock them off or something. Hey, Biscuit, what are you doing? So most of this is metal edge 2x4s for this little play course kind of thing. You've got the little, I guess it's a sand pit. The pit itself is Draken walls, I think. I like using it for dirt because it's got that marbly kind of brownish gray, not really dirt, I guess. It should be more brown maybe, but yeah, the pet is trained. That's funny though. That works. But again, I'm fascinated with this. This is probably my favorite thing here is the umbrella, the parasol. I can see a lot of people want to use this for their summer beach resorts. Um, little thing for like the terrace on their house. But yeah, those are the railings. It's these pieces here, and they just use it multiple times here. Again, it's pillars for the pole, and then it's topped with what I call the turtle bowl. It looks like a turtle shell to me, and they've used a few of those for the like the little cap, and then just layered that off. It looks complicated and everything, but with Katya's Builder Toolkit, KBT, it's like a cinch once you get the logistics of probably one stem, then you just copy it and rotate, copy, rotate, copy, rotate, and you've got a full-on little parasol. Awesome. I love that part. And of course, you can't forget the chair itself. Again, decking pieces. Awesomely cool. I love Aurora's so great with the furniture and the buildings and stuff. This would be a great little training thing. You could, I think we saw one once. There was one that had a horse farm, and they had a little training facility with like the pole jumping and stuff that they did. Okay, aside this the swing that I missed somewhere over here, where was that? Where was the swing? Have I gotten everything else outside? A sing? Oh, a sign. I think that's what you mean. Sign or sing? I don't know what a sing is. Oh, okay. Yeah. See, this is one of those deals. From a distance, I don't even see that there's anything there. It's only as you get right up to it that the words start popping up. Tygon's Cave. What does that spell with books? Okay. Yeah. Again, that's a problematic thing with the rendering. Um, if I wanted to do a nice broad screenshot of this plot, we're totally missing that there's a sign there. I'd have to play around with how close do I get before it starts showing up. And there, I'd have to do it from that distance rather than taking a broader look. There, that would be a good screenshot right there. Bygones Cave. If you're looking for other things to use for lettering, basically you use anything, but probably the faves is books, the edges of the walls, because they got the nice different colored woods, 2x4s, obviously, because they're cheap and they work good in most sizes. It really depends. And then the neon signs is probably like the fave for those that have a lot of like shops and things. They like to do some where it's lighting up and kind of flashy and everything. Laundry area. Yeah, I missed the bike. Where's the laundry area? Oh, I think that's up above, isn't it? Okay, so we're getting close to the actual residence. And so I wanted to kind of miss this part, but here we go. Here's the bike. Now, we've seen a lot of different vehicles built, and it's always fascinating, even if some 50 others have built bikes that we've looked at. They're never the same. They might use similar parts. The idea is basically the same. It's a motorbike, but look how unique it is in comparison to all the many others that we have seen. It's just totally mind-blowing. I swear. But let's see if we can figure out what all is being used here. For this little bit for the, I guess that'd be the wheel guard, both in the front and the back. Those are the med kits. I think it's, well, I think it's double strips here. It's like, well, two or three across. And then this one's way more than that, it looks like. But you can kind of see the underside here where it's got the med part on the, and this is the back side, I think. Um, for I don't know, I'm terrible at part naming, but I think these are either the lights or the antennas from some of the space chase stuff. These here are those, I call them the Draken pillows. I think they're supposed to be shields. That's part of the term. Um, I call them pillows because it looks fluffy because it's not like a concave shape or whatever. Concave or anyway, it's not bowed like a bowl shape. It's actually like double. So it looks like a fluffy pillow to me. But anyway, I digress. Uh, Tires, of course. I think this part here for the headlight is a space chase part. I really have no idea. I think the handles are as well. Look, even got the little shifter thing there for the this part here, that's from the Winterfest stuff. That's the Winterfest emblem, I think is what it's called. I think it looks like a bicycle helmet, so I guess that's kind of fitting and it's on a bike. But anyway, it's not that bike. I'm thinking like uh, Tour de France kind of thing. These here, the tentacles, those come from the same daily that you can get those pipes from, the N pipe, the L-shaped pipe, the sewage pipes. The tentacles are also among those goodies that you can possibly get if you go to do that daily. Gosh, there's like exhaust pipes. It looks like engine parts. Maybe even some. It looks like It's not the regular hanging cables. It's like hanging wires or something. It's like a big clump, and then it's got a couple of little ones dangling off. They've got that stuck in there. Um, Green pillows for the seat. It's just multiples of them. I can't tell what all's in there. Looks like maybe the uh, not motorized, the wall-mounted generator possibly under there in somewhere. I'm awful. Another, again, I think there's a lot of spaceship parts here. This looks like a spaceship part. Handle is the gunnership weapon. It looks awesome. I mean, how great would it be if, you could actually build one and then have it become an actual mount that people can use? Kickstand looks like the leg of something. The vent here, that's another spaceship part. I recognize that bit. Just so much detail. And it looks awesome. It looks like it came that way. It doesn't look like a makeshift. I mean, granted, I say everybody can put something together like this, but some, like mine, look more elementary in comparison. It's like, how many pieces would you guess this is? I'm thinking like in double digits, easy, like 40, 50 pieces. I wouldn't be surprised if that's how much it is or more. And I like get away with using like three, and there's like a big gap in quality there. Tech shuttle landing gear for the kickstand. Okay. Incredible bike. And then I have to point out the makeshift mailbox. I am one that loves to build my own. I know we have like, I don't know, 4 or 5 different models that actually are working um, mailboxes. But I do like Aurora does. I shrink it. and put it inside something that I built myself to make it look as if it's a functioning mailbox that came like that, but it's actually I've blinged it out on my own. I much prefer that. It's just a thing that I do, and I'm always appreciative of those that do that as well. It's nothing against the actual artwork of the traditional mailboxes. Those are awesome too, but because everybody uses them, it becomes kind of annoying to, well, I used it too. I prefer to custom everything that I can. Now, I'll even go to the point of actually making it small enough where you don't see the emblem. Um, but this does kind of give your visitors a hint that there's a functioning mailbox here rather than them maybe happening upon it and seeing the mail icon pop up. That's about the only benefit. But I actually shrink it down even further so that it's completely invisible. But this one's just some swirly stones, a little bit of overgrowth, uh, the note in a bottle, make look like some scrolls, some mail has arrived, and of course a tree trunk being used as the base, the holder of the stone. Here's the little laundry station. Um, Again, color shifting helps, I think. I'm not even sure what this is for the red clothing. Is that some raw meat or something? What is that under there? Is it socks? So it's like oversized socks, and you just made it look like different, like I don't know what. And of course, the barrel of the clothes that are waiting to be hung up um, is a combination of different items. It looks like socks and things that have been color shifted. No idea what all of that is. Pillows maybe, or just other socks, I guess. I like the poles for the laundry lines. The washing barrels. It looks like multiples of the water troughs, and then they've added to make it look like a washerboard. Where you scrub it. It looks like decking decking pieces for that, and then for the water itself, the frozen, I guess it's frozen water or frozen lake, one of the two. I forget which it's called. Same way here to make it look like the water's been spilt on the surface here. I think this is just the garden hose. Now there's actually a bit of like a bluish surface inside the water trough itself, but I think it helps that they went ahead and added in their own to make it blend better with whatever's going on here. So it all looks the same. It doesn't look like a weird water and then a different kind of water. It lends itself better to matching. Okay, so I think that's everything outside, and so now we can go to the interior of this little cave house kind of thing. If you're wondering about the little welcome mat, that's just the top of one of the bookshelves. I don't know if it's called the trophy cabinet or something along those lines. Yeah, I'm bad about that, Aurora. So I'll like look around. If there's a table, if there's something on it, I'll sneak up and under, and I'm really bad about that. So my apologies. The door, I'm trying to figure out what was used here. I think these are from the red um, bucket thing, but I'm not sure. And for the wood part, is that the spooky crate, or is it the spooky crate or creepy crate or some kind of crate? I forget. But this is one of those where you kind of have to be at a certain distance, I think.